We ahata et Yahuwah. Elohika bika luvika. Uvika naveshika. Uvika miyodika. Todi yashach. Todi yashach. Todi yashach. Amen. Yah of Israel, Shamak Israel Yahuwah, Ilahenu Yahuwah Ekat, We ahata et Yahuwah, Elohika bika luvika, Uvika naveshika, Uvika miyodika, Todi yashach, Todi yashach, Todi yashach. Amen.
Confusion has come. What their total the distance? Understand was not come regular. That is why the this year the election has because many people say that they are changing me. But me, I don't change me. Me, I want this thing. Government MPP was winning. But miss I don't get because when the MPP come, I was peace in the Ghana. So I didn't like this thing was changing me. I don't understand me. That is why I'm talking. Confusion has come. What their total the this thing? Understand was not come regular. That is why the this year the election has because many people say that they are changing me. But me, I don't change me. Me, I want this thing. Government MPP was winning. But miss I don't get because when the MPP come, I was peace in the Ghana. So I didn't like this thing was changing me. I don't understand me. That is why I'm talking.
Yah of Israel, Shamak Israel Yahuwah, Ilahenu Yahuwah Ekat, We ahata et Yahuwah, Elohika bika luvika, Uvika naveshika, Uvika miyodika, Todi yashach, Todi yashach, Todi yashach. Amen.
Todi yashach. Hey, Charlie, we have people in this country. It's 25 minutes after 8 here on 3FM 92.7. ADO Alex King. Nate speaks for the fire service. He's in studio with us. We had to play those clips to douse the fire. What's Charlie? Alex, good morning. How you doing?
Thank you very much. Glad to be here as always.
Growing up, I'm sure you knew the song Neil and Tesiklite, Alex Banku. Did you ever hear that song?
Some friends actually use it.
They still use it.
No. Now they
stop. Yeah, because they wear uniform.
I go catch
them. You knew that song, right? Neil and Tesiklite, Alex Banku. Helen is lost.
I've no idea. No clue.
And this one, they will sing it in credit. Nobody will sing it in credit. Charlie, fire service, how you doing?
Well, we are still managing, even though we are 60 years, with all the successes, challenges, and the fact that our gallant firefighters sacrifice their lives on a daily basis, but yet are underappreciated. We are managing.
When you say you're managing, I don't understand. What exactly do you mean?
Oh, well, in the face of...
You're not being paid well, fed well, clothed well, housed well, or what? What exactly is the challenge?
Well, our challenge, as we always say, is that, even though the government is, doing their part, we still need some more. We're a bit challenged when it comes to logistics. And it's our hope that government will do more and other corporate entities will chip in so that we can better perform our mandates.
Is a fire service officer comfortable?
Comfortable is a relative word.
Yes, I know, but I'm asking you, are you comfortable sitting here? Are you happy with your salary, your conditions of service, where you sleep? Are you comfortable?
Well, I guess
the word is listening. If you massage the things, your own DJJ.
I would say
if you say it the way it has to be said.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
PR it.
they should PR the thing. Then they will come back and
Cry after the show.
yeah, but I would want to avoid the word
Speaking of which,
comfortable.
William is dressed like you. The colors.
He's now an ADO.
He's a senior PR. Are you comfortable?
I would like to avoid the word comfortable. I would say I'm okay.
You're okay. You are feeling okay.
I would say I'm okay.
Helen, you're looking at him suspiciously.
Yeah, I'm eager to find out about some changes that hopefully maybe have been made with the fire service. You know, especially when he says he's okay. I know in their line of work, you sometimes come across some gruesome scenes. And last time you were here, we're asking whether there's some supports, you know, psychosocial, psychological support for firefighters.
Right.
Has that come through?
Yes, our chaplaincy department, headed by DO2, here. You know, he's doing his part. You know, we are coming up with a mobile psychology department that would help to psych people. This dawn, there was a fire at a plastic recycling factory at Beachley. The men just go to the back to base. The fire was around 4 a.m. They just go back, and you can imagine how toxic this plastic is. So the fireman still deserves more, even though I would say we are okay but not comfortable.
And how does that affect the quality of work you do for the people of Ghana who pay you?
Well, we are committed. You know, we've taken an oath to serve Mother Ghana, to serve the good people of Ghana, you, yourself, everyone here, you know, despite any challenge you might face. And so what we can hope is that as time goes on, things will get better. But we make sure that it doesn't affect us in the performance of our mandates.
Now, the key question that anybody would ask is, people generally find your work, they question your work. They get to a fire scene, they think that you are not serious, you are playing with their lives and their property, and you take forever before you appear and all of that. I'm sure you had those concerns. What do you say to those?
I've personally experienced some of those concerns myself. Somewhere, I think last week Friday, there was a fire at my area, Lomnava, and it was very unfortunate that the appliance had to come all the way from Abilingpi, all the way from Abilingpi to Lomnava, which is very unfortunate. I was there at the scene myself with the people, making sure things were under control, and it took quite some time for our plans to arrive. So we are affected, but they should bear in mind that it's not something deliberate. No fireman will deliberately sit down while fired. That's the reason we are there. That's the reason we are drawing salary. So no one will deliberately, believe it or not, if a station is dispatched to a fire scene and you spend more than a minute, even at the station, you'll be queried. Immediately, our control room gives you the fire.
Right.
You have to be on the move. So we do our best, but obviously some circumstances beyond our control. You know, just such as traffic, people blocking roads to do project, weddings, outdoors without giving us prior notice. It becomes quite a bit of a challenge and a problem for us.
Do you have enough fire attendants?
No.
So, what is the shortfall? What does it look like, the shortfall now? What does it look like?
The shortfall, I would say, maybe we lack fire attendants like 40%.
40%?
Yes.
That is not good.
That's not good. Looking at the growing population, the growing areas, and I think, you see, as a people, I won't only put the blame on we the fire service, but I'll put the blame on the ordinary Ghanaian. We'll put the blame on the media. We'll put the blame on the politicians. Everybody has a role to play because everybody seems to prioritize their security much more than their safety. Everyone seems to, you know, I'm sure in your house you have about 3 or 4 padlocks on your burglar proof. You have a burglar proof, you have padlocks, but you might not have a fire extinguisher.
I do. I'm not irresponsible.
Why do you say you're irresponsible? But,
and saying me, I'm not.
God bless you for that. You know, but then that speaks to the kind of importance or prominence people place on things they think matter to them, such as security. You know, people always call for more police stations. Police stations are important, but if it's a fire, you can't call the police station, you call on the fire station.
Right.
And as I said, the scary picture I drew the last time is that La Paz, Abekan, Sotum, Dakuman, Odoko, Antioku, Kwashiman, all those areas do not have a single fire station. Ablekuma, we don't have a single fire station in all those areas. So there's a big deficit. The government has tried with what we call the rapid intervention vehicle. We have just one in the system now. That's a prototype. And we are hoping that by the end of the year or by early next year, it would come. We'll have about 200 more to augment the efforts of the service. Even though it's a small vehicle that holds, I think, about 120 liters capacity of water, so that in case there's any fire, they can rapidly get there and and then manage the situation before the bigger tender arrives. But then that wouldn't again excuse us from getting a bigger tender, as they're making provisions for these smaller ones. We would hope and pray that they'll give us a bigger tender to be able to attend to fires.
If you have 40% less of what you originally need, you cannot be comfortable.
That's why I said we are okay and we are committed. We said at the end of the day, as we've taken our pledge, our vow to serve Ghanaians, we are doing that despite the challenges. So it's just
at the peril of your lives, because if you have inadequate equipment, inadequate resources, that's not good for you.
But then every security service here in Ghana works at the peril of their lives. So I think it's rather unfortunate that it's that case. But then it's a case that we are managing. We are putting things in place on our own to be able to ensure our personal safety, even in the face of these challenges.
Are your fire hydrants functional?
We have some functioning and some non-functioning.
Why?
Okay, so the functioning, I think I'll have to break them.
We have time for you.
All right. So you realize that the fire tenders is not a property of the Ghana National Fire Service. It's the property of the Ghana Water Company. And with when your water bill comes, you see that there's an itemized bill about firefighting. So that money goes there. In spite of the challenges with Galamsey, water has been a challenge.
Right.
If you open your tap at home and your pipe is not flowing, you should know that the hydrants are also not flowing. So it becomes a problem, and it becomes another problem again when instead of some of the municipal assemblies, going to the grounds to ensure or inspect places before they give out permits, they unfortunately do not do that. So someone probably has a legal document to site his building or a shop, and because he has the legal document, decides to break a hydrant there because he has the legal papers. So
right.
I think it's as I said, there's the issue with water,
right.
the Galamsey issue, people also building on our hydrants because they have permits from the MMDCs and all. So it's we have some working, and these are some of the reasons why some are not working.
And what is the plan to make sure that, because in any civilized society, you're supposed to have fire hydrants at least within 100-meter distance. If we don't have it, and the only thing we say is that, it belongs to water company, people have built on it, this, that, then what?
So we are now committed.
Because all the areas that you mentioned, La Paz, blah, 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 they have fire hydrants there.
Yes.
But if they are not functional, when you get there with your tenders, it becomes a fiasco.
You see, as I said, some are functioning. But then the issue is that even with the functioning one, we get there and there's no water flowing through them. Because, as I said, if your tap at home is not flowing, you should know that the hydrants are not flowing.
But the hydrants are reservoirs, are they not?
They're supposed to be, but unfortunately, we are challenged.
In Ghana, they are not?
In Ghana, they are not, because they have to flow. So what we normally do with the Ghana Water Company is that if we are fighting fire somewhere and then there's no water flowing through the hydrant, we have a good relationship with the Ghana Water Company. So we can get in touch with them, describe the place we are, for them to open that hydrant for us to be able to use for firefighting at that point.
Do you buy your own uniforms, or the state buys for you? Your uniforms, boots, do you clothe yourselves?
No, the state does it.
They do everything for you.
Yes, just that if you need more or you need extra, you want to look good, you want alternatives, then you can probably.
So how many does the state give you?
Well, with the camouflage, you get one,
Okay.
but per every year, they change we get.
So you get replacement every year.
every year.
But you have one uniform for the whole year. Hey, that's I to school for Christ. They have two that day. One back with the
Oh, but then you see that's why.
They'll top up, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, but then we have some allowances that that's supposed to take care of some of these kids allowances. They're supposed to take care of some of these needs.
So you have one uniform. You are giving one uniform.
But you are giving some allowances to be able to procure.
Can the allowances buy those uniforms you are talking about?
Oh, they can. They can. Yes.
How much is one uniform?
So you get the material, then you sew it. So there's no fixed price for a uniform.
So you go and sew your own thing.
We have service tailors in there who sew the uniform.
I want to understand. If I join the service now, will the service sew the uniform for me, or they give me the materials to go and sew?
They'll sew the uniform for you.
The first one.
Yes.
And then subsequently, if they change it, they will sew for me again.
Yes, you can contact the service tailors and then they'll sew
let's
for
get
you.
it right. So I get in. Now, the uniform will be sewed for me. The following year, it has to be changed for me. The uniform will be sold for me again.
No, yeah, the next year there is sold
It'll be sold for me again. Exactly. But then I have one uniform for the whole year.
No, you see, but with us, we have different uniforms for different days.
Okay. Right, the
blues, the whites, the browns, the camels. So you have different uniforms that you wear for different days.
So on the average, how many uniforms that every officer gets?
Well, about 4.
4 uniforms.
Yes.
And you're supposed to rotate them throughout the week, throughout the year.
Yes.
I see. Helen.
And then we get our the overall for operations also.
But so if you're in the office, you don't need operational overall.
Yes, but then at least those. But everyone gets it, whether you're in the office or not.
Okay.
Because you can be transferred at any time, and you can end up in operations.
Right.
So everyone gets it. Irrespective of the department you find yourself.
I see, Helen.
I wanted to find out if the fire service is still dealing with prank calls. I believe that was one of your biggest headaches. People calling all day, all night with non-emergencies and young ones as well disturbing the line. Have you seen a reduction in that?
I would say it's reduced a bit, because we've intensified our campaign. We've started putting measures in place, and now we've intended to go hard on people who do that. So I think the message has gone down thanks to the media outlets like yourself who help us propagate and then put out the caution out there. It's reducing gradually.
William, you wanted to say something?
You heard the voice of the gentleman who was standing for MP and said he was going to build a 30 high flats building.
Yes.
How high can your fire attendants go in terms of high-rise buildings in Ghana now?
I think it goes for about 12 floors.
12 floors?
Yes.
So all the buildings that are beyond
12 floors.
16 floors, they are on their own.
No,
but
then we don't leave it. We don't leave it at that. Just I think somewhere last month or last 2 months, there was fire at this apartment near the Accra Mall gallery. Okay, it was at the top.
Yeah.
Right.
We're able to douse the fire and confine the fire to just that room.
Okay.
It didn't even spread to the other rooms and the other floors. So.
And that's quite a high.
That's quite
building.
high. So we are not challenged. Obviously, as I said, we are a bit challenged when it comes to logistics. But then our men are very much able and very creative. Whenever we are confronted.
You
with
wanted
issues.
helicopters. Have you been given those helicopters?
Not yet.
Why? What have the government been telling you? They are giving police helicopters.
Procurement process takes a while, so I'm sure it's in the pipeline.
Which pipeline? Like the one in the hydrant that the water doesn't flow when the taps doesn't. Because I'm concerned. I mean, I remember when Indum's place got burnt, right? One of the things that your fire service at the time said was that you needed, if you had a helicopter, you could have, salvaged the situation much quicker than you were able to do eventually.
The helicopters is not really the ultimate solution.
What is the ultimate solution?
Because we fight fires with water. Helicopter cannot hold water. I don't know how the kind of finite amount of water a helicopter can hold. So helicopter, yes, would probably help, but that is not the ultimate solution for us. We need much more appliances. This introduction of the rapid intervention vehicles that we got right now is a step in the right direction. It's a much smaller car. It's a Toyota Hilux pickup. That's equipped with extrication tools and then some firefighting tools. So that's one. If you get that one, and then much more appliances,
Which other appliances are these? We don't work with you, so share with us.
Okay, so the appliances, the bigger fire tenders that we're talking about.
Okay.
If we need much more of that, at least in every constituency, in every area, we have, initially, there were areas that were not populated, like Ablekuma areas and some other major areas. Now they are all very much populated. So then it grows for a review. The whole, believe it or not, the whole of Dome, Kwabinya, Ashoman, there's no single fire station there.
With all that population.
So I think on Monday or Tuesday, there was a fire at Ashoman Estate.
Okay.
And our appliance had to move all the way from Medina Ridge Junction to go there.
Wow.
To Ashoman Estate.
But what is then the plan to get all these new areas or relatively new areas their own fire stations? Because the communities are growing.
Yeah, so you see, it's it's the responsibility of the municipal assemblies. Fire service does not go and set up a fire station on our own. We have, believe it or not, I know you might bet to differ, but we have much more than enough capable men to man stations if we have stations opened. We have men.
You do?
We do.
Okay.
We do have men.
You have enough men, because the last time I checked, you even wanted to recruit some more men, because according to that UN standard, one fireman to whichever ratio it was, you were not meeting that.
We are not
so
meeting
how do you
that.
come and say you have men? You don't have men. You don't have the men.
No, but then for now, what we need, since we need some fire stations, we have men enough to handle those stations that we need for now. Even though we still need more men, but at least I would say we have enough men to be able to man stations if the municipal assemblies and the MPs for areas help in establishing stations.
Have you told them the danger of not having, what do you call it, fire stations, the MMDCs or MMDAs?
They are very much aware, because
Have you told them?
We've told them. We keep telling them every time, and they'll tell you the issue with procuring lands for building, and it's difficult to even get lands around. So we understand them, and we are just hoping that because they are doing that well. I know with Awoshi Market, for instance,
right,
we've been able to secure a place that we now have a fire post inside, but just that we don't have an appliance.
Okay.
So even with that, we have men there. We've been able to secure.
So what do they do? The men there, what do they do?
So what they do is that they do preventative services.
They are in a container.
They're in a building.
The main building or a container?
They're in a building.
The main market building?
Yeah, no, not the main market building. They have a different building.
You've rented a
there.
place for them, or they built a place for them?
I would have to find that one out.
You don't know?
I don't know. So I'll have to find that one
Hey,
out.
seriously?
But then I know we occupy a building there.
Okay.
As to whether we've rented it or we procured it, I can't confirm that information for now. But then what I can say is that but for Malam, for Malam Market, it's a container. For Malam Market, so our men, yes. So whenever there's fire there, our people are equipped with some extinguishers, and then are able to help reduce the impact of fires at that level before it escalates to become big.
I see. Are your men able to rappel and abseil?
We recently had a rappelling course for some selected officers. So we have some who've been able to do that, and we do that because even at our training school, it's part of the course, being able to rescue people from a height.
Is that what they call the rappelling?
Yes, rappel and then abseil.
Okay.
Yes.
Then rappel.
So yes, so every officer is capable of doing that. Just that some have had advanced course in that, but everyone is equipped with that basic knowledge.
Every officer is able to do that.
Every officer is able
Because
to
we've
do
seen
that.
some of the videos of the training where they push some people down the cliff and
No, we use not ropes. We have creative ways of using ropes and then ladders to be
Okay.
able to get people down and up when they are trapped at a height.
I see.
There was
William,
something I wanted to ask about. You mentioned the helicopters not using water, but they use a certain powdery
foam.
substance.
The foam.
The foam
Yeah.
concentrate.
So why wouldn't you still ask for it? And
No, that's right. So I didn't rule that one out. I didn't rule the fact that
no, but because
a
you said
helicopter.
you use the water. And
Yes, but,
that's why.
but most of the time, water
But the
is
foam is not
mostly
enough.
used. The foam might not probably be enough during
Okay.
firefighting. You
Okay.
see, so no, that's not the foam. That's the powder. But
powder,
foam goes with water. The foam concentrate goes
So the helicopter
with
uses
water.
the powdery.
It could probably use the powder, but you see, powder is also very poisonous. That's why even in your kitchens, when using an extinguisher, we would not encourage you to use powder a dry chemical powder extinguisher in your kitchens, because if particles of the powder get into your utensils, could be poisonous. So it wouldn't be advisable with the propellers of the helicopter blowing and then pouring powder all along. It's it will probably cause a mass. Yes, so forest fires, it could be used because that's a wide area and it can be controlled. But probably for a residential area like Parkway Sindum's hotel that you're talking about, it could lead to some major poison.
Let's talk about accommodation for our firemen. What is the state of play now?
To the best of my knowledge, you have just limited accommodation.
Okay.
You have limited accommodation.
So what does that mean?
Okay, so we have some accommodation dotted around some areas. On the Dodowa Road, we have some flats. Near the Atesano, we have some flats there. And then at our training school, we have some flats. Just that we are, again, challenged. And I have to admit this, that the kind of infrastructural and logistical investments that some of our sister services receive is necessarily not at par with what the fire service receives. So housing is a big problem for fire service, and I know that our leadership are putting things in place to see how they can close the gap.
Accommodation allowances, they owe you, don't they owe you?
Yes, there's some arrears that we are looking for it.
Have you been paid any for 2023?
For 2023, no. We received some allowances. We're in August.
So how are you supposed to be accommodating yourself to fight fire?
It's a process, and it's quite an unfortunate development.
It's a process, you say?
It's an unfortunate development. And we all know. We all know the challenge government
process.
The money is supposed to be there for you to be able to, get accommodation, because the service doesn't have accommodation, and the money has not come. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August.
To the best of my knowledge, I know our finance department directorate are working tirelessly to get it done. So I would have to probably check with them to confirm the progress.
Have you been paid for the full year of 2022?
Yes.
The full year of 2022 has been paid.
Yes.
2021 cleared as well.
Yes.
2020 same. What is outstanding is 2023. But is it a normal practice that the year runs out before you are paid?
No, but I think we all know the kind of the financial situation the country finds ourselves in. And
that's what they should pay you.
That's why they should pay you, because if fire breaks, the politicians can't do that. But the Bank of Ghana has 250 million to build accommodation.
I'll prefer not to comment on
that. No,
I'm
not asking you. I'm saying it. I'm not asking you. Yes.
Because of the economic and financial crunch, they should pay you so that at least you can get around and do your work.
Our men are to be very honest, our men are very challenged. I won't sugarcoat it. Our men are very challenged. So because due to this, especially the lack of accommodation, it makes most of our men travel all the way from Kaswa just to even come to our headquarters to work. So it's quite unfortunate, and we are hoping that as time goes on, more priority will be given to the fire service, just as it's given to other security services.
The top is choked. That's what somebody told me. One of my informants within the fire service said the top is choked because the old people don't want to go on retirement. Is that the case?
Well, I don't have the date of birth of our I don't have the date of birth of our superior officers, but to the best of my knowledge, I know that their time is not up, and once their time is up,
for example, your chief fire officer, is he not on contract? I've done one, let the retarees go and let the young grow on him. He's supposed to be on contract.
Well, I'll have to confirm that.
No, I'm telling you.
Chief Kuno.
Yes.
I'll have to confirm.
He is a retiree who is still at post. Well, who has been given contract extension.
I've not really looked into that. So
yes, I have looked into it. I'm telling you that your boss, fire service boss, he's a retiree. Just like immigration service boss. Yeah.
I can't confirm. I would have to get back to you on that one.
Of course, you cannot confirm. That's fine. It's okay that you cannot confirm.
Work hard,
They make it hard like fighting fires at Makola.
If they don't know, don't tell them.
But I mean, let's get back to it. Market fires for me have been a very troubling situation. If you during a certain period in our year, you find a lot of market fires. What has been the underlying factor that brings about these market fires?
Well, it's mainly electric. You realize that most of these markets have been built for God knows how long. And the electrical wiring that has been done since that time has not really been changed. Everyone comes and it looks like they're all driven by the money. They just rent it out without carrying out regular maintenance of the structures. So that has accounted for most of the problem. And then the fact that some of our markets again do not place premium on their safety like just as they do with their security. Last 2 weeks there was a fire to Kaishi at dawn, and our men attended to that fire at dawn, and it was quite a challenge because we encountered with a lot of padlocks and a lot of barricades that we had to break through before but our men, as I said, are always gallant and prepared. They were able to salvage most of the things in there, and these people had kept a cash amount of 8,000 cedis in the shop. Were able to salvage it and they got their money intact. So it's a challenge. The electrical, in that case, for instance, the person had forgotten and left the fan regulator on, so it overheated and started the fire. And because they deal in sewing materials, there were lots of combustible materials, and then it caused a fire. So electrical fires top the reasons for the fires.
Do the market women still cook in the markets? Because one of the reasons that you have market fires, do they still cook in the markets?
I would say the split has reduced, but it's still an occurrence. And our people, you see, again, it will go down to the reception of people towards our safety messages. People have nonchalant attitude towards the Ghana National Fire Service when we go to give fire education. A classic example is the fire that happened at Circle. We have an able fire station at Circle, and the safety department constantly go out to do fire education. But the reception, people end up fighting with them, and they're not listening to them. And when fires happen, they blame the fire service.
Why do they fight with them?
I don't know, because again, you see, as I said, is that the ill perception of some people about the fire service. It's the ill perception. I was in the WhatsApp group.
Is it because of the way firemen carry themselves around?
You'd have to explain that for me to understand what
the way you carry yourself around, because sometimes you may forget you're put in a container at Kaswa, you are with the market women, you are eating gobe with them, chatting with them, always with them. Sometimes you come to work, your uniform, you wear chalote,
we don't
come and hang around. No. I mean, you come to work,
but you see, about the market, we need to get to them. So if you see a fire officer being like chatting with a gobe seller and all, that's because they have to be really close to them for them to be able to get the information to them for them to understand. So we carry ourselves, trust me, I'm sure you've seen a lot of young people in fire service now, and if you see impeccable dressing, so I don't know.
Dressing no they fight fire.
No, dressing no they fight fire. But then, like you said, the way we carry ourselves.
No, I'm just asking. Is it because of the way you carry yourself?
No, I think it's because, again, as I said, it's the attitude of people that they always feel comfortable living in their misconception. And then prioritizing their security. People have so many burglar proofs in their homes, so many padlocks in there, but I wouldn't think of even one fire extinguisher to protect themselves. So it's the misconception. Because when the Vice President of America came to Ghana, she insisted on having only firefighters in the inner perimeter because they prioritize fire and safety. And she wanted the security people at a wider perimeter, but wanted the fire officers closer. So as a people, until we change our perception about and draw a fine line or a fine balance between our security and safety, it will be an unfortunate trend.
Is it a national problem of how the fire service is treated? For example, I think that the police service and the military are treated way better than fire service, prisons, and all the other security service. I may be wrong.
So as I mentioned, I acknowledged and I conceded that the kind of infrastructural and logistical investments that the fire service receives is not at par with some of our security services. And it's as a result of we as a people people often call for much more security needs on the government. Put pressure on their elected representatives for more security needs than they do for their safety needs. So it's a national problem. So until we as a people change our perception and how we approach our safety issues, it would continue being a national problem.
The issues about recruitment have also come to the fore. How people are recruited into the fire service. Some say, the process is not clean, it's not credible, it's it's fraught with a lot of ways and means, protocol lists, political fire people, protocol fire people, and proper fire people. What do you say?
To the best of my knowledge, I know we do our recruitment the same way every security service does their recruitment. We go through, we sell forms, people buy forms, and when people buy the forms, then they go through the selection process, medical process, then they are selected.
Okay, let's wrap up the conversation. Helen, you had a question?
Just a very quick one. I know during the dry season we see a lot of the bushfires. Is that the reverse when we have a lot of rain? Do you have a bit of rest time, if you will, when the weather is wet, or is it the same sort of issues?
Believe it or not, we get more busier even during the rainy season.
I see.
Why is that?
Electrical fires.
Okay.
We get busier during the rainy season, much more. When it rains, then every fire station is worried because then before you realize almost every station will be dispatched. So we don't really have any rest. This dawn, as I said, we went for a fire. Yesterday, I was telling 6 that we went for about, when I was in the office alone, Accra and Tema, we had about 10 fires.
Wow. Just in the 24 hours?
Yes. Not even 24 hours. Because then that was just the period when I was at work.
I see.
At the office, so you can imagine.
Okay.
Now, asking of that, each time the wind blows and then our lights go off, do you guys collaborate with ECG to put our lights off when it rains and the wind blows?
Okay, the only time we collaborate with ECG, you see, that's when people get a misconception that we came to a fire scene without water. That's because when we get to the scene and then we realize it has to do with electricity, we just can't pour water on the fire. We'll have to call on ECG to cut power supply to the area before we are able to apply water to the fire. So then we collaborate with ECG, but not in the instance that you mentioned.
Do you guys have in-service training?
Yes, we do.
For because you see some of the fire officers, they are very full. Why are you laughing?
The way you're looking at me.
I'm not looking at you.
Johnny, I was watching you. You seem to be looking in a particular direction.
Don't discard my question.
You're being biased.
No. You are discarding that. Am I not full? Am I serving? Am I wearing a uniform? Am I wearing a uniform? I'm not wearing a uniform. I knew that's why I didn't go to wear a uniform. They are wearing uniform, so they cannot be looking like us.
You see me?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
You see, the same way you are talking about people being full, that same way we have very smallish and slim people in the service. And everyone has their peculiar rules. And
it looks like you have more full people. Or people who are full.
No, then maybe you need to take off your glasses sometimes.
The people I see
very often.
Alex, I was saying, don't mind Mr. I don't know his sample size that he's used.
Thank you.
Your Western Regional Command is asking people to stop excavations in hilly areas. What would be your interest in that, since it's not fire?
You see, these hilly areas are, it's all part of, you see, excavation goes down. And you see that with the flow of water, it affects, just as he called on the Galamsey, on us to call, to put an end to Galamsey as it affects our water. Every action that has to do with excavation goes down to affect the flow of water for us.
Oh, okay. See, Alex, thank you very much indeed for your time. We're grateful that you could hang out with us.
And thank you for letting me sweat in the air condition.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. You are a friend. He's very full. Very full, Alex King.